What's going on, traders? We got a few things to discuss, but before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So heading into tomorrow, I'm pretty bullish, and there's a few key reasons why. Reason number one is that Tuesdays usually continue what Mondays started, and that's just based off historical data. And I've said this multiple times on this channel, meaning since majority of today was pretty bullish, tomorrow we could see more upside, but probably with more value. Not only that, but historically, heading into key events such as CPI data, PPI, again, I've said this multiple times, we see a somewhat of a rally to the upside in the market when we are heading into these events, and then maybe a sell-off or whatever news drops, whatever the market decides to do based off this news is what ends up happening. And so it's important to note that Wednesday we have core CPI data at 8:30 Eastern, and then in the afternoon at 2 Eastern we have FOMC data, or FOMC meeting I should say, and then Thursday we have core PPI data and unemployment claims. So very important key events. So if you are the type of trader to pay attention to news or trade off news, I do caution you to potentially sit on your hands, but if you don't care, then do whatever you want with this information. Now today, very interesting, right? We had a nice close, a really good close actually. On the SPY, looking at the SPY, we closed above 534. If you really want to pinpoint it, 534.6. We closed above that level, and we also closed above our psych level of 535. So I do think we're going to see more upside heading into tomorrow. If we can get above 537, I think there's potential to head towards 540. After that, we're looking at price discovery mode. So very good day for the SPY. As far as the downside goes, like I mentioned, you want to see us get below 534 if you are bearish on the market for whatever reason. And after 534, you're looking at a move towards 533. It is really tight range in this area. And then after that, 531.5, 530, 529, all that fun stuff. It gets really tight in this area. Pause. Okay, so something you really want to pay attention to as far as the SPY. Now, I've said this multiple videos, and I still stand by it, that I think the SPY can go as high as 550. Now, whether that happens this week, it remains to be unseen, but I still think that is a potential price target for at least this summer. So that's what I have for the SPY. Triple Qs. Triple Qs didn't necessarily close above the levels that I would like to see. I would have loved for it to close above 465, but still, regardless, it still looks bullish. It still looks fine. We're still above this 460 area, 462.5, 460 range. This is a whole supply and demand zone, and as you guys can see, very important supply and demand zone. I actually didn't mark it, but we rejected here, and then eventually we broke through. And if you zoom in, I don't think you guys will be able to see this, but this little guy right here has a wick that pretty much bounced off here, where bulls stepped in and pretty much bounced off the supply and demand zone. We revisit and we bounced off the supply and demand zone again. So very good sign that we could potentially be looking at more upside heading into tomorrow. Your key level here is 465 psych level, and after that you want to see us hold above 466. After that, again, I've said this multiple times in multiple videos, 470 is my target as far as the triple Qs, and so far we've been pretty spot on as far as targets. My first original target was 460 and then 465. I'm pretty sure people was looking at me like I was crazy when I mentioned those targets, but here we are. Okay, reason why I have 470 is if we zoom out, or we don't necessarily have to zoom out, but yeah, I guess we do have to zoom out, but looking at the daily time frame, this trend right here, eventually we have to revisit this trend. So if I extend this trend, hopefully it acts right. Yeah, it's not gonna act right. All right, regardless, if I extend this trend, or at least try to, we rejected this trend like multiple times, so you guys know I'm not making this up, right? We bounced here, even though it couldn't extend all the way over there for some reason, and we bounced here, and then right here we broke below the trend, and it acted like a magnet. Okay, it was really hard to get away from it, and then eventually we broke away from it, and right now I think we're going to revisit this trend, which is about around 470, 472 range. If we do just so happen to get a further drop down in the market this week, then I do believe that's just creating more room for highs, and we can potentially be looking at another target of 480, but we'll talk about that when we get there. As far as downside goes, as long as we hold above 460, I think we're fine, but if we do get below 460, then I think we can start heading as low as, let's go to the 4-hour time frame, we can start heading as low as 455. Very illiquid area. I mentioned this in the last video. Very illiquid area, and I imagine it's going to happen fast if we do break that 460 and hold. And I imagine the only reason we will move that fast is because of news, maybe CPI, Fed meeting, whatever the case may be. News will be the reason that this move happens. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that this is going to happen based off whatever news we get this week, but it is important to be cautious that this can potentially happen. And at some point, I do believe we're going to have to revisit at least 455 on the triple Qs. And that's really all I have as far as the triple Qs. IWM. So the Russell, we took profit on our, I mentioned this in the last video, but we took profit on our 195 puts in the Discord, just in case you guys don't believe me, because I have no issues showing the trades that we take in the Discord. IWM 195 puts, and we took 50%, or I took 50% off of it. $500 play, well, $500 profit. So yeah, we definitely took profit at open when it was like at 199. So congratulations if you took this play in the Discord, or if you're following this channel and you decide to take the play. All right. So yeah, right now it looks like IWM can potentially recover here. I'm still not buying this move though. I still think that IWM has more downside, but I think the market is going to pretty much help it go further up before we see that move down. I could be wrong here. I mean, there is a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. I mentioned this in the last video. I still think IWM has more downside, 198, 195 range, but right now looks pretty bullish. So I could be wrong, and I'm fine with that. I already took profit. I made my money off of it. So if it decides to go down, go back up and recover, that's fine with me. I'm not trading it anymore. So completely fine with that. But as you guys can see here, left shoulder, head, and then another potential shoulder here. Or actually, this isn't a potential shoulder. This actually is a shoulder for me. And yeah, that's really all I have for IWM as far as my trade go. Now, as far as key levels, we closed above 200. Your next key level here is 204.5. You want to see IWM get above 204.5. Then your psych level is 205 and then 207. After that, if you do manage to get above 207, then 210, and then 212 is like your main key level where you want to see small caps just really take off, and even meme stocks. Okay, so I mentioned this in the last video that I don't think AMC and all that's AMC, Gamestop, meme stocks and of that nature are going to take off without the IWM being ready. Okay, I just don't think that's going to happen. If it does happen, that's great, but I don't see it happening until the IWM is ready, and that could be based off the news we get this week. All right. Amazon. It's been a long journey, man. It's been a long journey, but Amazon is finally moving. Again, we got into a trade on Amazon. I've mentioned this in multiple videos. We got in the trade down here at a 174. We did 200 calls at 174. This is our monthly supply and demand zone. Absolutely beautiful entry, so congratulations if you entered here. We did 200 calls for June 21st. Right now, Amazon's looking amazing right now. It broke back into the supply and demand zone, and it closed above 186.5. I said this in the beginning of the video. A lot of stocks are closing above key levels, so this is a good sign that we could be seeing more upside heading into tomorrow. But 186.5, absolute beautiful close. I think Amazon is going to start heading towards 188 and then 190. Okay, 190 is next. All right, but this looks absolutely great. I have nothing negative to say about Amazon. As long as it holds above 183, then I think we're absolutely fine as far as Amazon goes. And then if we break below 183, then we're going to start heading towards these guys here. It's a lot of turbulence in this area, so I imagine the only way we're going to break back below 180, I would say 179 to be safe, is bad news. Okay, so just be careful if you are trading news this week. But we got such a great entry, I'm not necessarily worried about that. I still think Amazon has potential to head towards 200, and yeah, that's really all I have for Amazon. If Amazon gets above 192, I would say, so 192, right where these guys are, pack your bags, grab some snacks, grab some Capri Sun, some Lunchables, pizza, whatever, the Skittles, all that, because we're heading to the moon. I'm telling you this now, we're heading to the moon. Okay, leave the spouse. You're gonna find somebody new on the moon, I promise. Okay, but that's what I'm looking at as far as Amazon. Okay, Amazon looks absolutely amazing right now. I have nothing bad to say about it. Microsoft. Again, Microsoft. I've been talking about Microsoft for the past few videos. Absolute beautiful play here. Again, we're in 600 calls for December 20th in the Discord. Beautiful play. Check out those contracts. Right now we're in somewhat a profit. It's nothing crazy or anything. We entered at around this bounce off the supply and demand zone around 422, 423. I think Microsoft is going to head towards 430 tomorrow. That's not saying much. I think it could head as high as previous highs at around that 434, 435 range heading into tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens from there. But again, Microsoft looks great. Okay. it's holding up strong despite any dips we've gotten in the market. It's held up strong. If it gets back below 415, then I'll be somewhat concerned. But other than that, I think Microsoft looks absolutely beautiful. If Microsoft gets above 435 and actually holds and closes above 435, guys, pack your bags. Get some Cool Ranch Doritos. Go to the car lot. Get you a Lamborghini, put some jets on it because we're heading to the moon. I'm telling you that right now. If not Amazon, Microsoft gets above 435, it's heading towards 440, 450. My highest price target is 480 on Microsoft as far as the short term, but I see no issues on Microsoft breaking above 600 sometime this year. I just genuinely believe that. I think this thing has been lackluster lately when the market is taking off and all that fun stuff. And we go to the daily time frame. I mean, you see it, inverse head and shoulders, shoulder here, head here, another shoulder here. This thing looks diabolical, guys. Okay, it just looks absolutely amazing. That's all I have for Microsoft. AMD had a price downgrade from what's his face, Goldman Sachs or whatever his name is. I don't pay attention to those guys, but it also had a price upgrade as well. It had a $200 price upgrade today as well. So we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But as far as I'm concerned, what are they? Chip stocks are taking off. Like they all look ready to absolutely explode to the upside. So hopefully AMD follows along. But right now AMD is at this monthly supply and demand zone, or we should say monthly support, right here at around 160, and we'll say 160 and 158 is the supply and demand zone. And right now we're looking at an inverted hammer pattern on the daily time frame. We're in 170 calls for this week. Worst case scenario, we roll them over or we close them up below 158 if we just so happen to get a candle to close below 158, because chances are it's going to head towards that gap fill, and AMD can start heading towards 150, maybe 145 being the lowest. But yeah, AMD still looks good. It bounced off 160 pretty clean. It bounced off this monthly supply and demand zone pretty clean. I think it can start heading back towards 170, 172 range. Again, it got a price upgrade, but then it got a price downgrade and a price upgrade today. So we'll see how that plays out and go from there. But overall, across the market, semis are absolutely like they look absolutely parabolic. Like they're ready to take off across the board, guys. Apple. So I mentioned this in the Discord a few times. Apple has a bearish engulfing candle on the daily, so I do think it has more downside to go. Nothing too crazy. And even this right here, as far as Apple goes, this rising wedge pattern, as far as Apple, I've been saying this multiple times or showing this multiple times in the Discord that we have a rising wedge pattern on Apple, and so it broke through today. Okay, so it finally broke down today. I think it could start heading towards that 191, 190 range. Lowest I'm looking at is 188, 189. I think that would be an absolute beautiful entry if we do get this target here. If Apple gets towards 188, that's the lowest I'm looking at. I would say 189, 188 range, where the supply and demand zone here. I will be looking to enter there. Me personally. That's just me personally. Do what you want with that information. I mean, you can see the significance of this level here. We bounced here, rejected here, bounced here. I mean, this is a very powerful level. So if anything, I think that would be an absolute great entry for Apple. But as you guys can see, I didn't make this up. Clean as day, rising wedge pattern. It broke down. It kind of started bringing the market down with it. But the market, I mean, again, bulls just are strong in this market, man. I mean, Apple couldn't even bring it down. Apple was dropping pretty aggressively when this pattern broke. So, yeah, something to pay attention to. But SPY held its own. Q's held its own. So, yeah. Really like Apple if it does get towards that 190, 189 target. Okay, really will like it to the upside at that point. AMC. I told you guys I am pretty bullish on AMC. I still like AMC. I think it looks great as far as potential upside, but I also told you guys that AMC, I don't think meme stocks are going to take off while the market is rallying. I just don't. Okay. Historically, last time meme stocks took off, the market was dropping. So I just think if history is going to repeat itself, we need the market to drop if you want AMC and Gamestop to go higher. I could be wrong. That would be great for my contracts. As you guys know, I'm in 5.5 calls for July 12th, so I have plenty of time on my play. But right now, it looks like AMC can potentially head towards this gap fill at 4.4. There's this daily trend at around, it broke the previous trend I had in my last video, so I erased it. But As of now, it can head as low as $4. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It can head low as $4. If it does head towards $4, I would look for another entry there. Not another entry, but to add more contracts there as far as AMC. But again, I don't think meme stocks are going to take off while the market is rallying to the upside. So yeah, that's just based off historical data. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, that would be great. Either way, I win. Okay, I still will make money off my play, but I do think at least this week, I do think AMC can head back to $6. I think that's going to happen this week, but it might happen towards the end of this week. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Maybe after news or whatever the case may be. But yeah, if it doesn't happen this week, it's going to happen next week. I'm very confident in that. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Feel free to come back to this and be like, yeah, you were wrong. All right. And just cuss me out, whatever you want to do. All right. But still, as you guys can see, didn't make this trend up. You bounced here, and then you kind of tried to break through here, and then you bounced here as well. And then it looks like we tried to head here. I mean, it looks like AMC is just making higher highs. I mean, hopefully you guys see it. Higher high here. Well, it started here. Higher high here, and then if we get a green candle back to the upside, we can look at a higher high here. I keep saying higher low. I'm sorry, higher low, and then right here was the higher high that's starting. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at as far as AMC. My price target is still about $10 for the short term. I told you guys before my short term target was $7. We already hit that target. We hit like 6.9, close enough. And if we could break above $7, then we're heading towards $10. And right now, after $10, not right now, but after $10, we're looking at $12. If AMC breaks above $12, guys, I'm gonna say this multiple times every video. If AMC breaks above $12, pack your bags. Get you some spicy Doritos. Get the chili ones, okay? The sweet chili ones, okay? I like those, all right? Get the sweet chili ones. They're really good. You should try them out. Get you a Gatorade. Don't get the cucumber Gatorade. You're absolutely diabolical if you do get the cucumber Gatorade. I don't understand why that's a thing. And pack your bags because we're going to the moon, all right? Other than that, that's what I have for AMC, okay? Highest price target right now that I can see for AMC is 42, and I just think that can happen. Not only that, but if we look at the weekly time frame, there is a fair value gap in this area. At some point, we have to like clear this area out. I've seen it so many times, guys. I've seen it. I have like 12 years experience trading. I'm telling you, at some point in time, it has to clear this area out. It has to. All right. But what I will say is that traders have this misconception that gaps have to be filled. And I know there's like a lot of gaps to the upside as far as AMC. All these gaps to the upside do not have to be filled, guys. I will say that much, okay? But 42 is on the table here, all right? When that happens, I don't know. We look at the monthly time frame. I said this multiple times as well. We have an inverted hammer pattern right here. Again, this is the monthly time frame, so it may take some time, okay? It may take some time. That's why I added at least a month and some change to my contracts, July 12th. But it can take some time, but I do think we'll see some type of jump this week, at least to $10 to $12. As far as the higher targets, it may take some time, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That's what I have for AMC. GameStop seems to be moving after hours. There's nothing too crazy, but same thing with GameStop. It has an inverted hammer pattern on the monthly time frame. This area has to be filled at around 60. I think it's going to head towards 60 this week. When that happens, what day exactly, I don't know. Okay, it may happen after we get all this data, CPI, PPI, Friday, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, yeah, at some point in time, it may have to come back up here and just clear all of this out. Okay, all of this out. All right. So I do think it's going to head towards $60. Above that, everyone keeps talking about like volume at around 120. I could see that happening. If I'll put it like this, if GameStop heads towards $60 again, because this would be like what, the third time, like the third time is heading towards $60. At that point, these guys are gonna panic. Okay, these guys right here in this wick. Hopefully, you guys can see this. These guys are gonna panic in this area. GameStop already leaked its earnings for whatever reason, so that's why I think it dropped. I could be wrong on that, but other than that, if GameStop heads towards $60, these guys in this wick here, these bears, I tell you guys all the time, wicks tell you where sellers and buyers are. These guys right here are gonna panic, because that's gonna be like the second time that's happened, second, third, something like that. That's happening too much. That means that bulls are trying to really take control if this happens again. If that move's happening again. If it happens again, they're going to panic. They're going to get stopped out of their position, and we're going to head higher. Okay? If that move happens again. I'm like 90% sure. Okay? I've seen this so many times, guys. Not squeezes like that, but I just really have a good understanding on how the market moves. And again, we get back up here, these guys are gonna freak out. There's bears in this area. These guys are shorting GameStop, guaranteed. Okay, so you want to see these guys get rid. Like, this is a tough area. You want to get rid of these guys. We head up here again, they're gonna freak out. Okay, so that's what I have as far as the overall market. I'm pretty bullish heading into tomorrow. Once again, I think we're going to see maybe newer highs. Again, we usually run, and I've said this all the time. Every time we have CPI coming up, and I haven't yet to be proven wrong, we usually run into these events. I think we're going to see more upside tomorrow, and that's pretty much all I have for this video. If you like the video, if you want to join the Discord, link is in the description below. Hit the like button. Really appreciate the support, and that's all I have. Till the next video, traders, have a good one.